Marjorie Greene just got her biggest wish, but she might live to regret it, because we were talking just last week about her desire to move on to the Senate, having already achieved everything that can be achieved in the House with a career of dignity and intelligence and wit. She's now looking at the Senate, and she had said the only thing that was going to stop her from running for the Senate next cycle would be if Georgia Governor Brian Kemp decided that he was running. Now, implicit in that is quite a bit of political cowardice. I mean, she disagrees with Brian Kemp on a lot. If she really thinks she would be a better representative, then you should have been ready to primary him, but you know that you would be destroyed in that, don't you, Marjorie Greene? I say, knowing that she occasionally tunes in. So, but the issue is that he has announced that he's not gonna run. So I guess the way is clear for her to run. But there's some issues for that, for her and the Republican Party as well. First, though, Kemp said, I have decided that being on the ballot next year is not the right decision for me and my family. He apparently told both Trump and other GOP leaders of that decision earlier in the day on Monday. And it's an interesting choice. A lot of people are interpreting it as him believing that this next cycle is likely to be really bad for the Republicans. So why waste his attempt to get into the Senate on that cycle? I would say, based on the polling, he would still have an okay chance. So I think he's being a little bit too cowardly in this particular case, but regardless, he's out. And so I guess Marjorie Greene is in. And she sent this letter to her followers saying, the Senate is broken, the cowards are mounting. Again, remember, she said she wasn't gonna run if Brian Kemp ran. Saying that Jon Ossoff is terrified I might step in. I'm gonna tell you what feelings he's really feeling. I don't think terror is one of them. Something, he's a traitor to our daughters, something, anti-trans, I don't know, whatever. But she also went on News Nation to discuss her future. Take a look at this.
I'm very grateful for the support I have in Georgia. The polling shows I can win the governor's primary, or I can win the Senate primary.
So what are you going to do?
Also continue to represent my district.
So what are you going to do if you?
That's a choice that I can make, and I'll give it some thought.
She'll do something. I don't know if thought's gonna be a big part of it, but yeah, I could win governor, I could win Senate, and I have no thoughts about either of those wildly different positions. It's all just a career play for me, being responsible for the day-to-day governance of Georgia or representing our state in the greatest deliberative body in world history. Same thing. I mean, I don't even take my current position seriously. Why the hell do you think I'd take that one seriously? She announces. But she had said earlier that Jon Ossoff was terrified. Okay, Luke, we're gonna discuss, but let me show people a few numbers, because Jon Ossoff maybe would have been a bit terrified if Brian Kemp ran, because Brian Kemp in early polling was actually leading Jon Ossoff by 3 points. Now, a lot can change in the next year, tariffs could hit and all that, so who knows how that would have played out. But then you take a look at Jon Ossoff versus Marjorie Greene. He's up by 17 points, which means, and please, Marjorie, I hope that you're tuning in right now. The gap from Brian Kemp to Marjorie Greene is 20 points. And I honestly don't know if I've ever seen like the individual qualities of a candidate make that much difference in an election. I mean, Georgia's like a purplish state, but it seems maybe a little bit more reddish lately. And even so, they clearly do not like Marjorie Greene there. And it's not just that she was doing worse than Brian Kemp would. She's trailing John King, who gets an extra point over her. Brad Raffensperger, the traitor who cost Trump the Georgia election in 2020 or whatever, he's beating her by a couple of points. And so far, it doesn't seem like any Republican is doing worse in that race than Marjorie Greene would. So if anything, I think Jon Ossoff is probably feeling pretty good these days, but what do you think, Luke?
I love how she's like, thank you for all the support in Georgia, as right now we're learning. Not like it's so great for her. I am just, can we get to the end of this? I'm just this thing where every one of the worst possibilities just happens. Can we just, it's sort of like a shot's not that bad, but just waiting for it to get poked in is, I just want to get to the end of this. What's the worst MAGA candidate that's gonna run? Because so long ago, it would have been, impossible to comprehend that Marjorie Greene, yes, the space lasers, but so many other things. The reason she even rose to fame in MAGA was because she was a Facebook person posting about QAnon conspiracies and who knows what else. And now, if she got that nomination, which I think, even though she's trailing compared to Jon Ossoff, the MAGA base and maybe could push her over the edge if there's like a 3-way race or something. I know for certain Trump would get behind her. The Georgia Republican Party would get behind her. And just the Republican Party now, it's nothing. It's just whatever the craziest MAGA candidate wants it to be. Now, to your point, I said a while ago, I saw Jon Ossoff, posting a video being like, Marjorie Taylor Greene is saying that she's going to get in the race. And if she gets in the race, Marjorie Greene, get in the race. Marjorie Greene, get in the race. Marjorie, like really trying to goad her into it. Because for him, even though the crazy off chance where she would win would be terrible, for him electorally, that's kind of his dream because she would be a political toxic nightmare. But please don't let anything go astray there.
Yeah. And look, we always have to bear in mind the worst possible thing that can happen sometimes does. So this simultaneously raises the chances that the Democrats win that seat, which is super important. We need that seat, but it also means that she could potentially win if something crazy happened. I don't think it's super likely. And some of those crazy MAGA candidates have lost. I mean, Herschel Walker's not a senator. Kari Lake is not a senator. Mastriano didn't win. Dr. Oz didn't win. So sometimes reason does prevail, as it doesn't always sunny in Philadelphia. But I hope that Ossoff still has a plan, still raises money, runs a good campaign, because we cannot have her in the Senate.